I'm not wrong. Just confirm, one of you.
Ma'am, page number 4, second last paragraph.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
So what I'll do is just go through the entire thing, only the word meanings and all. The otherwise, I'll just recapitulate what these guys have wonderfully presented. The first and foremost, he spoke so well about Khushwant Singh, his background, his most important work, that is your Train to Pakistan. Then there is one more hilarious kind of a book by Khushwant Singh, if you can read, Obituary. You know, his own obituary also he had written long back. He, in fact, died at a very ripe age, and he lived a very fulfilling life. Now, a little bit of personal anecdote here I would like to give you. Like when we were posted, my husband was posted in a place called Kasauli, that is in Himachal Pradesh. I had the honor of meeting this gentleman and also his son, Rahul Singh. Both of them, they were a part of the Kasauli club, and that was a summer retreat for Khushwant Singh. And you won't believe what a hilarious, what a charming guy he was. And at that age, you know, I have seen him 90 plus, maybe some 10 years back, or maybe more than that. I think more than that, 2000, that was my first school. So I guess 15 years back then. So that particular place, I remember him and full of life. So I remember he gifted me, and I still possess that, and it is a prized possession for me. The book that he had given me, that time it was coming out later, that is called Obituary. And you won't believe what a lively man he was, and the way he, everything, you know, very, at that age also, very clarity of thought when he spoke as well. And his son was a squash player. That's how I remember him, old guy, but young at heart, and like I said. And this particular book, this chapter which you are reading, it is actually, you can say, autobiographical elements are there, like very well pointed out by Aishwarya, Bhavya, Akshita, and Arav, Pragya, Daman. Wonderful presentation, beta. So it talks up, first they spoke about Khushwant Singh. They came to the three different stages of the relationship between the grandmother and the grandson. The first one was at the village, where the connection between nature and human is also mentioned through the mention of dog. Now, the first part we had already covered, the first aspect, that is the first part of the relationship, that is the development in the village. Now we'll come back to the second, and that's where we are going to read it loud. I just take hardly any time to go through it. You can just know the word meaning. I'm not going to explain anything. He's done it beautifully. Just a second. And wherever you have doubt, all of you can ask, or else we can just go to the question answer as well. Today, maybe we can wind up this chapter. For the next class, all of you can do your question answers as well. And later in the next class, that is tomorrow, we will start with either writing skills or we'll do grammar. So just a second. The chapter, this
Ma'am, can
one,
we do note making?
note making. Actually, I was planning because I have to move in sync with the other classes as well, beta. So maybe the next week I can do note making if it is not a problem with you. This time I will take up grammar. Is it fine with you, beta?
Okay,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yeah, because next week, Monday, Tuesday, in fact, I'll take more classes for note making. It is a slightly, initially, you will see that it is slightly difficult, not difficult, I would say, but yes, you need to be very precise when you are doing it. So we'll take a few classes and get it, like we'll do it, and you will practice it also. Like I said, please buy yourself BBC worksheet so that you can physically practice in them. Okay. Now, coming to page number 4, towards the end, when my parents were comfortably settled in the city, they sent for us. That was the turning point in our friendship. Although we shared the same room, my grandmother no longer came to school with me. I used to go to an English school in a motor bus. There were no dogs in the streets, and she took to feeding sparrows in the courtyard of our city house. As the years rolled by, we saw less of each other, but sometimes she continued to wake me up and get me ready for school. When I came back, she would ask me what the teacher had taught me. Now, there is a word here, a turning point. That's the only word I can say is not difficult, but yes, something which you need to know. Turning point is there is a change. There is a change in the entire thing. In fact, the life they were leading in the village, that was more simple and they connected better. They could spend more time with each other. Why? Because she would give him a bath and she would feed him, take him to the school. On the way, they used to feed the dog. So that quality time they had with each other, which was now in this city missing. And why was it so? Because this boy was slightly grown up, went to a school which was no longer, close by. You had to go by a bus, and there was no requirement of the grandmother anymore. She would sit at home, she would spend time in the house itself, and her priorities changed as well. The boy obviously was in a different environment completely, an English medium school where things were taught in a different manner. No more the religious books were being taught. Now, as the years rolled by, they obviously saw a little less of each other. Now, moving to page number 5, I would tell her English words and little things of Western science and learning. The law of gravity, Archimedes' principle, the world being round, etc. So basically, if you see this, he went into more of logic, more of reasoning. He was more into science, the applicability. So now his priorities were changing. His world was expanding, and there was a lot of development. Now this lady, though she tried her best, but she was not able to, not exactly cope up, but at least she was not able to keep pace with him. And more than that, they were not spending quality time anymore. And what was the changes that were brought in? The boy was going to an English medium school. He was learning English words, Western science, and also he was taking a bus to the school, which was something different. Then he would, he was learning the law of gravity, meaning this is emphasis on law of gravity. Archimedes' principle was to emphasize that he was into science, logic, reasoning, and all that. Earlier, he was into that religious scriptures and all that, how the grandmother wished they were moving. So she did not believe in the things they taught at the English school and was distressed that there was no teaching about God and the scriptures. So obviously she did not kind of match up to the things which were being done in the school. Moreover, she was not at all happy. Why? Because there was no talking of God and scriptures. It was she felt very left out. One day I announced that we were being given music lessons. Till a point in India, in our own culture, singing and dancing weren't taken very, in a good manner. It was not in a very good league. For example, today it is like if you know dancing and singing and all, we are appreciated for the same. They are considered to be one of the best hobbies a person can have. But that time, it was only, taken in a very vulgar connotation. You can say it was not taken kindly by people of that generation. And why so? Because she was very disturbed to her music, had lewd association. Lewd means obscene, vulgar. And why was it? It was the monopoly of harlots and beggars. Please underline harlot. Harlots means the women, in fact, the not girls, you can say the prostitutes, basically, not used in a good manner. So it was, she thought in her generation, anybody who did singing and dancing and all was supposed to be, a harlot or a beggar. Generally, you will see the beggars kind of distorting the whole Hindi song and singing on the platforms and begging. While begging, they would completely change the song and the tune and everything to something like that. So this was not considered very polite something and not meant for gentle folk. For good people, it was not there. So she was obviously quite disturbed and very irritated with the whole fact that he was learning, apart from completely diverting into science and English and all that. Now, this is another addition for her irritation. She said nothing, but her silence meant disapproval. Please underline this line. She said nothing, meaning she did not interfere, but her silence meant disapproval. Though she did not interfere, but she did not like it either. She rarely talked to me after that. Like it's as if she boycotted him, that you did not take up something which I was not in favor of. When I went up to university, I was given a room of my own. The common link of friendship was Snap. Now, this is the third one, the third part of their relationship. It is completely like, Snap means cut. It is no more. First of all, they had a wonderful relationship, beautifully coordinated, and they were very happy with each other. The second was slightly indifferent. Now, the third one is completely that they do not agree and they not talk at all. My grandmother accepted her seclusion with resignation, meaning she completely gave in. She did not revolt anymore. She did not fight back.
Somebody
And
unlocked 100% of the cerebral
her
capacity.
own loneliness. She just withdrew.
100%.
In one line, if I say, she just withdrew to her shell. She just went in. She did not anymore involve herself in his affairs.
वो प्राणी भी
So,
जीना चाहता है
my grandmother accepted
और उसको भी जीने का
her
अधिकार है।
seclusion, means she accepted her
वो वायरस भी
loneliness with
एक प्राणी है।
resignation, with she just agreed
वो
to
प्राणी
it.
भी
She
जीना
said that
चाहता
this is eventuality. This is the
और
one.
उसको भी जीने
This is
का
the
अधिकार है।
reality. I have to accept it as far as possible. She rarely left her spinning wheel to talk to anyone. From sunrise to sunset, she sat by her wheel, spinning and reciting prayers. Only in the afternoon, she relaxed for a while to feed the sparrows. While she sat in the veranda, breaking the bread into little bits, hundreds of little birds collected round her, creating a veritable bedlam of chirping. Please underline this line, a veritable bedlam of chirping. Bedlam is basically chaos, a lot of noise, lot of activity. It is making a lot of noise, bedlam. Chirpings are the voice or the sound of the birds, and veritable means too many. There are too many noise or chaos, and why is it so? It is because of the chirping of the birds. Some came and perched on her leg, others on her shoulders. Some even sat on her head. She smiled, but never showed them away. It used to be the happiest half an hour of the day
एक
for her.
प्राणी है
Now, what is the meaning? The
वो
difference
प्राणी
is
भी
in
जीना
the
चाहता है
village, she had the
और उसको भी
dog,
जीने का
but
अधिकार
she
है।
was very happy. She used to come with her grandson and feed them and felt quite relaxed. Here also, she was starting to look for excuses to be happy. Here, she finally found, you can say, her refuge in this particular bird, these sparrows, these birds who came and sat there on her, and she never kind of, unnecessarily kind of drive them away or shoo them away. She accepted it, that they came and sat on her shoulders. When I decided to go abroad, now this is the final straw, this is the final nailing, you can say, of the whole entire relationship. When I decided to go abroad for further studies, I was sure my grandmother would be upset. I'd be away for 5 years, and at her age, one could never tell. At her age, one could never tell, meaning whether she'll be alive or not when he comes back after 5 years. And also the taboo attached. The earlier times, like for example, you might have read in your in your younger classes, primary, I think the secondary classes, Raja Ram Mohan Roy and all these people, they went abroad to study, and that time it was not considered a very good thing. People, in fact, thought that if you go abroad, you eat there and all that, you kind of leave your caste as well. So this kind of thought process even was there with this grandmother. She was not in agreement with him going abroad, but like I said, she was non-interfering as well. She just kept to herself and she did her own prayers and all. And now she's completely given up on the grandson. Now, but my grandmother could. She was not even sentimental. She did not show her emotion. It's not that she was not emotional or anything, but she did not show it to anybody. And she came to leave me at the railway station, but did not talk or show any emotion. Her lips moved in prayer. Her mind was lost in prayer. Her fingers were busy telling the beads of a rosary, meaning Even if she was not in agreement with him going abroad, but the fact remains that she constantly prayed for him as well. She did go there to say bye bye, and it did not show any emotion, but yes, her fingers were busy telling the beads of a rosary. Silently, she kissed my forehead, and when I left, I cherished the moist imprint as perhaps the last sign of physical contact between us. He thought that when he comes back after 5 years, maybe the lady won't be around. But that was not so. After 5 years, I came back home and was met by her at the station. She did not look a day older. She was always that old kind of thing. She did not look older. She still had no time for words. And while she she just hugged me tight, that is, in her arms, I could hear her reciting her prayers. Even on the first day of my arrival, her happiest moments were her sparrows, whom she fed longer and with frivolous rebukes. These underlined frivolous rebukes. Rebukes are those small abuses, not generally you mean anything bad or anything, but people who just scold you, just small scolding. Frivolous means without any logic, without any kind of meaning. You just kind of uh, utter a few words. That's all. So frivolous is something which is not to be taken seriously. In the evening, a change came over her. She did not pray. She collected the women of the neighborhood, got an old drum, and started to sing. See, this line is completely unlike what the lady was. She did not believe in singing and dancing. She did not believe in any of these kind of things. Still, she has started this. For several hours, she thumped the sagging skins of the dilapidated drum. Sagging is like something which is shrinking in, something which is not in a good form. It's like loose. And dilapidated means very old and broken or not in a good condition, and sang of the homecoming of warriors. Obviously, during her time, warriors and these kind of things were more important. Like unlike us, what we do, we play those Hindi movie songs and all that, and some songs, especially all of us are that Badshah fans and all that. So we'll have those coming up on this thing, and during the wedding or some kind of function, we generally play at the topmost sound and enjoy that. But unlike that, the lady was more into this kind of a drum, and she was singing about the warrior. He had to persuade her to stop to avoid overstrain. That was the first time since I had known her that she did not pray. Something very uncanny, very unlike what the grandmother did. Maybe she was anticipating something which is coming up. And that is why this kind of a behavior. The next morning, she was taken ill. It was a mild fever, and the doctor told us that it would go. But my grandmother thought differently. She told us that her end was near. She said that since only a few hours before the close of the last chapter of her life, she had omitted to pray. She was not going to waste any more time talking to us. We protested, but she ignored our protest. She lay peacefully in bed, praying and telling her beads. Now she knew that her end was coming and was near. So she is completely avoiding everybody. She's not obeying to the thing. She just went back to her own self. Even before we could suspect, her lips stopped moving and the rosary fell from her lifeless fingers. A peaceful pallor, please underline pallor. It's basically a very pale yellow color kind of thing. Basically, her face became pale and spread on her face, and we knew that she was dead. Now, as if she was holding on to her life just for her grandson to come back from abroad. So it's as if she saw him, felt good, danced along, and then she passed away. We lifted her off the bed and, as is customary, laid her on the ground and covered her with a red shroud. Shroud is the last cloth that we offer to the dead. So shroud is that. And so they covered her entire thing with a red cover. And after a few hours of mourning is you're sitting and remembering the loss that you have that has happened and all that. And we left her alone left her alone to make arrangements for her funeral. In the evening, we went to her room and a crude stretcher, in fact, typical that made of bamboo and all that, so that it can be put on it and carried to the cremation ground. Crude stretcher to take her to be cremated. The sun was setting and had lit her room and veranda with a blaze of golden light. It was as if God was watching, there was peace and all that. We stopped halfway in the courtyard, all over the veranda, and in her room, right up to where she lay dead, stiff, stiff wrapped in the red shroud, meaning she was there in that red shroud, thousands of sparrows. Now, see how these mute spectators, they might not be saying anything, but they're expressing their sadness by gathering all over. Thousands of sparrows, whom maybe sometime or the other the lady must have fed them, came to kind of mourn her death. They came to pay their gratitude, their respect to the old lady, and they sat scattered on the floor. There was no chirping. They were like as if thousands of sparrows not making noise is something very unlike. It's as if for 1 minute they're paying their silence. We felt sorry for the birds, and my mother fed some bread for them. She broke it into little crumbs the way my grandmother used to and threw it to them. The sparrows took no notice of the bread. When we carried my grandmother's corpse is the dead body that is, off, they flew away quite. Next morning, the sweeper swept the breadcrumbs into the dust. It's not as if that, the mother would give and somebody else will give her them the food and they would accept it. No, they only accepted from the person they were all this while being fed by. So their loyalty was for the lady. The loyalty was, and also the gratitude that somebody was there to look after them. So that kind of thing. And that's why they just came and, flew up. So this is the story all about. This is the chapter all about. We'll do the notes and everything. We'll do the question answer. And also the presentation would be more than enough if you can just go through once at least. You'll get to know that how it's like done. And the chapter, like I said, read it once yourself and you'll understand it better. Now, any questions that you have, Beta? Anybody wants to ask any question, or else maybe today we can stop here 10 minutes prior, and then next class we can do the question answer and maybe one writing skill. Yeah. Anybody? Any question?
Ma'am.
Yes. Yes, Kanak.
Ma'am, Aishwarya and her team presented the slide in which they discussed the tone of the story. What does that mean?
But see, generally we give the tone. Actually, it should have been ideally called the theme. In fact, Daman or maybe Arav Sharma, that is. But if you're listening to me, just write that as theme. Okay, and in the poetry, generally we see that in what kind of mood, how is he expressing himself? What is the entire picture all about? For example, suppose there is a poetry. Tone is generally used for mood and tone is used for poetry. Why? Because, like suppose I'm reciting a poetry. What is the feeling that I get? Do I become emotional? Do I become sad? Do I become happy when I read it? Do I feel any kind of what feeling do I get when I do it? That is the tone and the mood. Mood is that whether it is sad, melancholic, or is it happy and very carefree, gregarious? What kind of things are there? This part we'll discuss when we do your poetic devices as well. And before I start this photograph, that is your poetry which you have, I will do something called poetic devices. In that we'll discuss this mood and tone. And for you, Arav, in fact, I wanted to point it out. I would have in any case written, but write it as the theme. He was talking about what has been dealt with. The chapter, the main crux of the chapter is dealt. Right? Okay. Any other question?
Excuse me,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, can you please explain, ma'am, the meaning of harlots?
harlot. That's what I said. Prostitute. Women who generally like are, you can say, sex workers basically. So that time it was so not considered very, or even now for that matter, it is not considered a very good profession for people. So that's why she referred to people who sing and dance as harlots. Did I make
Okay.
sense? Yeah. Yeah.
Ma'am, what
And
is veritable bedlam of chirpings?
yes, veritable, lots of means different kinds. Okay. And bedlam means chaos, lot of noise, not very peaceful sound. Okay. And chirping means the birds when they make the sound, chirping of the bird, the sound of the bird, the noise that they take out. So veritable bedlam of chirping. There was lot of confusion, there was lot of chaos, there was lot of noise. Yes, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. And ma'am, what the narrator meant when he said seclusion with resignation?
Yes. It's basically accepting the reality. In this proverb means you accept reality. And in reality, the fact remains that even if the grandmother wants or doesn't want, the gentleman has to go to the country abroad, he will go. So it's always better to make it less painful. You have to accept things. So that is what is the meaning of it. That you accept something just lying down instead of making a lot of noise and a lot of trouble for the poor guy. It is like you accept it without even giving a fight. Yeah. Anything else?
Thank
Sudha? Yeah.
Ma'am,
Yes, Panchita. Pardon. I'm not able to hear you, sir.
ma'am,
Vanchika.
what of sagging and dilapidated?
Yeah. Sagging means loose. Something which is very loose. It becomes something which was very tight. The drum was quite tightly holding on to that, but now it is broken. So sagging is generally something जैसे जिसको हम बोलते हैं ना बिल्कुल ऐसे चुस्त सा गया ऐसे बिल्कुल पतला सा हो गया है, something which is not in a good form anymore. And dilapidated means something which is destroyed, which is not in a good condition. So sagging, the sagging things of the dilapidated drum, meaning the drum that she was beating was not in a good condition. Yeah. Anything else? Anybody else? Everybody is clear with the whole thing? I will send you the content as well, beta. My own content where it will help you. And of course, the content that these guys have wonderfully presented, you can take the help of that. A few question answers which are there. Tomorrow we'll discuss those question answers. Each one of them, in fact, one by one we can discuss. There are so many other things. And also we'll do note. I'll just try. Because Kanak, you wanted the note making. The reason why we are still having admissions going on. There will be new students as well. And note making is a very new topic. See, for example, notice writing and letter writing and all those things, grammar, you have been continuously doing it over the years. So we'll just have a recap of the whole thing. But note making requires that I involve each one of you, including the ones who are going to join slightly late in the session. Right? So we'll take up at the later. Okay, maybe tomorrow I'll take up notice writing. And all of you, like I said, please get yourself BBC worksheet. Reason why I'm stressing on it, because ready-made questions are there. You can always keep physically practicing. You might think that, like, okay, I've seen this question, I can do it in the exam. It doesn't happen like that. If you don't practice, you will see the effect during your examination. You will not be able to manage your time. You'll never manage with the content. So it's better that you practice a little every time. Okay? Chalo. If you have any question, please ask me, or else we'll stop here and we'll start from here tomorrow. Are we done?
Yes.
No. Yes. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
All,
Thank you.
Beta? Yeah.
Hi,
Have a
ma'am.
wonderful thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, ma'am.